To-do list versus calendar. Josh, that's something we hear all the time. It's a big debate. It's a big myth. And you've got great content here. I've been reading your manuscript of your book that's coming out. By the way, if you want to find out about Josh's book, check the description below. We will give you some information there. But Josh, it's good to have you outside. We normally film videos and we're normally inside offices and we're normally in different places. Talk about this. Like, why are we outside? Did we schedule this, or was this something that we just randomly came up with?
We're outside. I kind of miss my screens.
Yes.
I don't have 9 screens here, so I'm a little out of my element. But we scheduled this.
We did.
2 months in advance.
2 months.
We said if it's nice out,
Yep.
on the June trip when we're making our videos, we're gonna do the videos outside.
Correct.
So, I mean, when we're talking about to-do list versus calendar,
Yes.
this is only happening because it was on the calendar.
Correct.
Right.
Now, one of the reasons we're making this video is because when business owners come into the office, they speak with Josh, I'm listening, we're talking about productivity. We're talking about what are some of the successful actions, the proven successful actions that other entrepreneurs have done. And it transcends all industries, as you may have heard in Josh's other videos. In fact, if you haven't already done so, this is a playlist. This is a series in which we're overcoming a lot of those challenges for you, the business owner. So if you haven't already checked it out, go up here, click the I button, and you can find out more about those other videos. But Josh, you talk about one of the common traits, the successful traits of business owners, and that is to have a calendar, a very predictable calendar.
Have a calendar. There are things that end up on an entrepreneur's to-do list that need to be on the calendar. Right? So it's not, do I only use calendars or do I only use to-do lists? It's what items need to be on a calendar, what items need to be on a to-do list. That's how people should think about it. And if it's an item that you need continually for success, okay? We're out here doing content because without content, there's no marketing. Without marketing, there's no sales.
Right, there's no customers coming in, yep.
We don't need sales sometimes, we need sales forever.
Correct.
That's why content is part of our calendar. That's why we're out here today.
It's one of the proven things that successful businesses do.
Proven time, right? If I was putting this on a to-do list, for example, we would never get to it. There is always one more customer issue, one more staffing issue, one more administrative thing that we can tackle.
Even a personal and family emergency or something comes up.
There's always something vying for your time as a successful entrepreneur. I mean, there's never going to be a time in your life, again, when you own a business, where there isn't something you could do with that hour, right? There will always be something that you could do with that hour. So really, what gets scheduled gets done.
Right.
What gets on a to-do list might get done.
Right.
That's the difference, right? That business owners, they really need to think about
so
this.
Repeat that again, because that is something that's very critical for those trying to improve their productivity. I've read lots of books. If you've seen any of my videos as well, too, I have a lot of books on my bookshelf. There's always this debate about, how do I be more productive, income generating activities, golden hours, all those type of things. Josh, I know that you're very regimented with your schedule.
Yeah.
Even your personal time is very regimented. For the entrepreneur that wants to believe, hey, I want to be a laptop lifestyle, I want to sit at home the 4-hour work week.
Yeah.
How do you, is that a proven method to be successful?
I mean, like I say, if you want to work 4 hours a week, you better hope your competition is working 80.
Okay.
That's the problem, because you're competing against some guy who's working 80 and you're working 4, you're going to lose, right?
Right.
So, it's not that you can't work 4 hours a week, it's just statistically unlikely to generate success, right?
Yes.
So you just got to figure out, what are those items, and what are those must-do items, and they have to be on a calendar, not a to-do list, because they will drift. Like I said.
Can you give some examples? What are those, examples of what you see not only in your own business, but also with the hundreds of businesses that you help consult and manage as well?
So what we're doing right now, you need time for content. Right?
Yes.
If you don't have content, it's going to be very difficult to do any marketing. You need time to actually do the marketing.
Right.
Okay? You need time to actually do sales.
Okay.
You need time to do the technical work of that business. So
deliverables,
the deliverables. So whether you're working on the tools or supervising the people who are on the tools. Okay? Then you need time to do the administration of the business. Okay. And there's certain subsections of that administration. When are the times that you're actually doing the systems and checklists and templates, the repeatable processes that you can give to your team so they can up level.
Right.
Okay.
A monthly meeting.
That's right.
A cleanup, a scrub of your database, your CRM.
Yeah.
Maybe your finances, your payrolls.
Finances, that's a whole other
Oh,
one
that's a whole
altogether.
separate, okay.
And that one's a good one too, right?
Yes.
People don't have that in their calendar.
Right.
When is that time that they're actually going to review their financial performance, right?
Yeah.
That needs to be a separate one, altogether. And then when is the time that you're actually going to address these team issues? I always hear these staffing problems. I have this staffing problem. I'm having an issue with this person. And I tell them, like, well, when is it in your calendar that you can recruit a replacement?
Right.
Are you being held hostage by this person because you don't have a set time in your calendar? Are you worried about firing this person because you're going to have to commit time to actually a recruiting strategy that you didn't have, right?
Right.
And how did you get there in the first place? Do you actually have a time dedicated in your calendar to up-level those team members so that problem didn't occur in the first place? How are we increasing the performance of those staff members? These are things that they need to be in the calendar. They can't be on a to-do list because we can't improve the performance of our team once. It's not like building a house. We're always trying to improve the performance of our team, and we're always adding new team members. They always need to get up level too.
Correct. Now, and Josh, I think a lot of entrepreneurs, they read a lot of books out there, and we hear Michael Gerber, right, which you've quoted him in your book as well too, about working on the business, not in the business, right? And so, in order to get your time back and work on the business, you're saying one of the key ways is by making sure you have these scheduled things in your calendar versus just to-do lists. A lot of us entrepreneurs just have a big, every day we wake up and it's like, I got to do all these things, and then tomorrow, before I even finish those ones, I got to do more to-do lists.
Yeah.
Versus if you have a schedule, do you also have a scheduled time to do to-do list things?
A scheduled time to do to-do list things. You might have a flex time that adjusts with something.
Yes.
But you have to understand that if you put it on a to-do list, it's a maybe.
Gotcha. Okay.
If you put it on a calendar, it's a for sure, right?
Okay, so you always do it, for
That's
sure on
right.
a calendar.
It gives you this ultimate sense of freedom once you figure it out. Because once you figure it out, you just know I just have to do this, and this.
Yeah.
And I might not get everything done, but I'm going to get all the important things done. The business is going to work as long as I stick to this calendar, right?
Correct.
It's a very freeing thing, right?
Yes.
Because you've come to that realization that you can't do everything, but it forces you to do the things that are most important, and the business will succeed, even though some things are going to be undone.
Makes a lot of sense. And you even schedule your vacations, right? So it's a predictable thing. Your staff know when you're not going to be there.
Yeah.
And so that's how you can train them. And even 3 months, 4 months before, you're already prepping them up. You're letting clients know in advance because it's a schedule thing. It's not a random to do.
That's right. We got a vacation coming up in August.
Yes.
That's been on the calendar since February.
Yes.
We got a vacation coming up in October. That's been on the calendar since April.
Right.
These are the things that you need to do. Even that personal time, it needs to be scheduled.
So that you can clear your mind and you can be more productive when you have that time off. And then your staff watching you, now that helps morale in the company because then they know that they can predict when they can take time off because you're leading by example, right?
Yeah. They know when the meetings are coming up. They know when their deadlines are because they know the client meetings are, their deadlines are a factor of the client meetings, and they know when they're coming. It's not going to get thrust upon them one day, right?
Correct.
It provides that predictability, and that predictability gives certainty, and that certainty gives comfort to the people around you.
All right, Josh, so then how do you organize your calendar? Give the viewers some action items that, in this series, by the way, check out the other ones that we have up here. We give you actionable items in every single video. And if you'd like to come and meet Josh in person, he also puts on a business bootcamp a couple times a year. People flying from all around the countries to come and see you in person and meet other entrepreneurs that are actually beating the odds and succeeding at business. Josh, what are some action items from today's video about scheduling and to-do lists? How do you organize your calendar?
So the calendar, a couple of proven methods that I've heard some people have a repeatable daily calendar, some people have a repeatable weekly calendar. I prefer a repeatable monthly calendar. I think it gives you the maximum amount of flexibility that's practical, but at the same, we don't want a repeatable annual calendar because we can't be doing 365 things different every year, right? So that repeatable monthly calendar, for example, I might do the same thing at the start of every morning. At the start of every morning, I start my team off in their team huddle. Okay?
Correct.
That happens whether on week 1 or week 2 or week 3. Whereas on week 3, I know I'm meeting with most of my CFO clients, right?
Correct.
So I find by a repeatable monthly calendar, you can get the things in there, because there's some things that you should probably do every day,
Yep.
some things that you should probably do every week, some things that you probably do once a month, right?
Or even
And
once a quarter, right?
that's I would suggest they're actually further, in between once a quarter, right? Like some
Right.
people, they'll tend to, review their finances once a quarter, which I think is too long,
Right.
right?
They should be doing it once every 2 weeks, you're saying?
That's right. You're
Yeah.
right. And there's few things that maybe once a quarter or once a year, but I would think most of the things that are worth doing
Yes.
are worth doing at least every month. And then you should ask yourself, if I can get away for not doing it for a quarter, well, why don't I just never do it? And if
Right.
it's important enough to do it, why am I doing it at least monthly, right?
Right,
And
okay.
and so I challenge people to think about that end of it, right?
Okay. Josh, so that's an action item. I think maybe summarize, and by the way, if you take action, we'd love to hear from you. I'd love to give you a shout out, or if you'd like Josh to explain a little bit more, I can get him to make a follow-up video as well in the future. But comment in the comments below. Let us know how you've actually taken this video and how the aha moment you've had from it. What sort of changes have you made to your calendar? Josh, what would you say is something that someone can do immediately as a first step into the calendars? Like this week, like right now, I just finished watching this video. What am I going to do right away?
You're just going to plot it out. You're going to use your iCalendar, your Google Calendar. Heck, you could use a spreadsheet and template it out. You could use your old handheld, booklet. You just need to time block these things out. I'm going to do the administration on Monday, the marketing on Tuesday, the sales on Wednesday. I'm going to do my site visits here. I'm going to meet with my team at this time. You just got to launch the version.
Right.
If you overanalyze it, you're never going to get to it. And no matter how much you analyze it, you're never going to perfect it anyways. What you need to do is launch it, plan it, and then start executing it, right?
Right.
Usually, you're going to find that things can't fit there. Something that you thought was going to take, half an hour needs to be 2 hours, right?
Right.
There's a little bit of a snowball effect on how this works, where your financials might be a mess, and the first time you drill through them, 2 hours isn't enough. But if you keep doing it on that schedule,
will get more
eventually you
predictable.
don't even need 2 hours, you need an hour or an hour and a half, right? But if you stop doing it, so you just got to launch this thing. And when you get to a place where you're only deviating from that calendar, say once a week,
Yep.
you've got the golden ticket then.
Right.
It's never going to be perfect, right? So if you're searching for perfect, it's not going to happen. When you first launch it, you're going to be deviating from it every single day, right?
Yes.
And then you're going to come up with a version 2, and you're going to try that one instead. And you're going to experiment with things like, maybe I need a half hour for meetings, or an hour for meetings, or 2 hour for meetings. It'll be different for different people in different industries. But the proven path is that you actually need to launch a version, try it, figure out where the weaknesses are, launch version number 2, just test, measure, test, repeat.
And I guess just for anyone watching this as well too, Josh, is this, again, what I'm hearing from you is don't be so hard on yourself, but you should, with intention, as the business owner, be focusing on this. So probably it takes, 3 months? In your experience, what have you seen? The average business owner, how long do they take to get really good at this and kind of have a nice, well-oiled machine?
Well, you're always going to be updating your calendar to some degree, right? I mean, I never used to come to Vancouver, right?
Right.
And now we built up Vancouver because we built up the Vancouver office, right?
Correct.
But I would suggest it probably took me the first 5 years to really start to get dialed in on what I need to do at different times. I experimented with all these things, the length of time in the meetings, the order of which I did things in the day. It matters too, because there's some things that you should do at the beginning of the day, some things you should do at the end of the day, based on your rhythm and your concentration levels and what works best for you. So you're going to have to experiment with it, and you should view this as, this is something that I'm going to do for a few years before I finally get to something where
Get into a groove,
and once you got that, I'm telling you, it's the golden ticket.
Right.
Because now you can pay someone else to do that exact same calendar and scale it over and over.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. Then you can exit the business, or you can work on or above the business, not in the business. And Josh, I think, for anyone that's watching this, sure, try to figure it out yourself, try to map it out, let us know in the comments below. But I know that Josh also does provide business consulting and coaching as well to his clients. So maybe that's one of the things that you do. If you want to reach out, check out the website, spurrell.ca, SPURRELL, a lot of doubles in there, .ca. Check out, book a time and speak with Josh. And part of his consultations, I know he not only helps business owners with their finances and getting things in order, but he also helps you to map out your calendar. That may be one of the benefits of working with Josh. And with that, if you haven't already checked out the other videos, go watch the other ones there. We will see you in the next episode.